Hello again, it's Joey John Maguire. I'm in Victoria once again. I'm in a Wetherspoons pub, one of my favourites. It's called the Willow Walk. It's very, very busy. It's lunchtime, it's always busy at lunchtime. Never enough seats. Very, very full pub. That's Wetherspoons. I'm about to recite my latest poem that I wrote in the early hours of this morning. As always, it's me remembering, this particular poem is me remembering things, and it's called Doomed to Fail. This is a memory from childhood, one of the many. Doomed to fail. He had spent every night for days rehearsing in his mind the words and lines he'd put to page. He would put his greatest talent to the test to prove to her once and for all that his role was paramount in this victim's tale. But as always, the forces would be against him. Not all Davids can slay Goliath, and not all Goliaths can be slain. Booby traps formed formidable barriers. There were tripwires at every turn, slamming up before him. The more he moved forward in a feeble attempt to gain ground, the more the sludge of concrete at his feet thickened, until it finally set to form the familiar car park which was his temple of doom at the root of all his woes. A lost soul, his cause exhausted, lay crying in his own misery. Unable to rise and run, he lay trembling, rendered helpless by the heavy hand that he perceived to be injustice, rendered helpless and forever doomed to fail. Limp efforts are futile, pointless exercises, and he'd been a long time trapped in the sticky gunge of entrenched opinion that formed her will, and her mind was made up anyway before their eyes ever met. Spoilt brat, far too clever for his own good, cleverer than her by far, and that would never do. He'd got a nasty shock coming, and she was the one to deliver. Hers the hand of justice, hers the guillotine of scorn. The lines were drawn, but he was just a boy. No matter how well practiced the metaphors, he was doomed to fail. The forces were all against him, and the pages would be blank that day, with the only visible entry a messy mark where his nib had snapped at the head of the first page. So not a word was written, a poignant indicator, a clue as to his panicked state, his mind blind, confused by frustration. What good are screams when they fall silently onto a blank page? And what point now anyway, when the next day would see the mockery of his failure as she displayed the empty pages for all to see, proof that from the offset she had been right to judge him, a spoilt little brat, ungrateful, a smart-arsed antagonist, too big for his own boots, in need of a brutal spanking, a mind-numbing snuff, rather than his flame be kindled with encouragement and praise. So it was. Not a word was written by his hand. Despite his rehearsals, he lay in silence, sleepless, in Newcastle, through many endless nights, with all his dreams stuck in the puddle of concrete, still there to this day, set solid, a peripatetic car park, a grid-like stoic entrapment that has seen him doomed to fail, and all down to one woman's judgment and the bitter scorn she sent away. That poem is dedicated to a long forgotten but remembered just now teacher. I think her name was Miss Footer, and she didn't like me very much. Anyway, there you go. Memories are memories, and what goes round always comes round. I have